Hi, my name is Daphne Marsters. I'm the single parenting expert and the author to the book Parenting 101, the single parent's musical guide to live your dreams, and its companion, Journal Your Journey 1. Today's daily insight is on service providers. So what's out there for single parents, and what do these service providers do? If you don't have a copy of the book Parenting 101, I'd like you to grab a copy. There's a link just below this video at the book's website, parenting101, thebook.com. And there today I've also provided a blog about this topic so that you can look back on it many times later. So we're just going to get straight into the 7 groups of service providers and what they actually offer to single parents. Big main thing is that if you're a single parent out there, one, don't ever be scared to actually approach service providers. If you're needing professional expert help, then get out there and go for it. Make the appointments that you need, but have a look at the at your book and see exactly what these service providers do. Okay, so I've given it to you, but I'm just gonna give you a bit more insight. So the first group of people are doctors, pharmacists, dentists and nurses. So what these guys do is that they provide preventative, curative, promotional and rehabilitative health care. Who they are is they're a bunch of professional people who really know a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, they help you with your physical health only. They are not parenting experts. Okay, so that's what doctors, that's that first group of people. The next group of people are religious spiritual teachers. So you may know them to have titles like a pastor, a preacher, a father, a nun, a guru. And these guys focus mainly on your spiritual health. So they also can be connected to organizations like a church, a mosque, a temple, sometimes community groups. And they're absolutely wonderful because they have a large following of people and they do a lot of charitable work. So for single parents and their children, having a religious or spiritual teacher, and seeking for their professional advice can actually be quite helpful for you. However, just be mindful when you're asking for, some issues in your life that can be quite challenging just for anyone really to approach, but especially when it comes to a spiritual teacher, because a spiritual teacher's words to you and advice to you may be along the lines of will be along the lines of their spiritual teaching. So as a single parent, I mean, there are some spiritual teachers out there that they're not into the into the one parent home thing, and they already have that, and they won't advise you. And some other topics are like if you're talking about homosexuality, or if you're also talking about like some very sensitive topics like abortion and stuff like that. The spiritual teachers may or may not be that supportive of you. So that's just a little thing about spiritual teachers. But all in all, they can be very helpful for you in the home, in regards to, to some real things that you may be needing, like furniture or clothing or food, or, just someone to talk to. They can be very helpful in that way. Then we've got the third group, which are counsellors, psychologists and psychiatrists. So all these 3 are totally different in what they do, and they're experts and professionals in regards to mental health and also behavioural issues. Okay, so the first one is counsellors. Now at the end of the day, some people get counselling quite a little bit confused, thinking that if you go to a counsellor you get all your answers and they'll help you, when in actual fact, yes, they can be helpful, but not necessarily in regards to getting advice. That's just not what they do. What counsellors do is they listen to you, tell your story. They kind of like, you tell your story, you come up with the solutions, they come up with a counselling agreement with you, and then you see each other next week. So in essence, what you're doing is you're talking to yourself and you're coming up with your own solutions to your own problems and challenges, and then you pay them just to see them again next week. So that's what counsellors in effect do. Then you have psychologists, and psychologists You know, they have a little bit more, well, a lot more learning, and they have a lot to offer you. You know, so their job is to figure out the emotional and behavioral problems, and they can be very knowledgeable to help you understand, you know, by what they have observed. So those are psychologists. Both psychologists and counsellors, they really can't go diagnosing. You know, they can't go telling you, you know, your child has got ADHD or your child has got depression, because that is not their job. The job is for someone who's a clinical psychologist. So a clinical psychologist has spent some time in the medical field learning some extra things within a set boundaries of, like, you know, the medical area. You know, so they're called clinical psychologists. They can diagnose. However, for what I would say to you is seek for the professional input of a psychiatrist, because a psychiatrist is a doctor, but they've also done extensive years of knowing and learning about mental health. You know, can a GP diagnose? Yes, a GP can diagnose. However, I would be very mindful that a GP is diagnosing my child with mental disorders, and let alone with medications, because, you know, nowadays everyone's just popping pills for everything, and, you know, that's cool if you're a single parent and you choose to do that. But at the end of the day, some of these diagnoses, I think, really ought to go to a psychiatrist, because a psychiatrist has got extensive knowledge and also has to keep up with what is currently going on in the world too, or in their area of expertise. And then we have social workers. So social workers is the fourth group. They're amazing. Social workers are an absolutely amazing group of people. Their main role is to care for you as a single parent and your children, and they're a world of resources. They know so many things that are out there that even some of the other health professionals actually don't know. So if you ever get a hand to have a great social worker on your side, then stick with them, because they're absolutely awesome, wonderful people. Then we have group number 5, which are childcare workers. So nowadays, it's, you know, childcare is becoming a really big thing, and single parents are using the childcare services. A big one with childcare is that childcare workers absolutely love your children. You know, they just really do. They can assist you to understand your children when you're not around, you know, and the way that they understand the children is that their understanding is with the children's social, emotional, physical and educational development. You know, so the big thing with social workers is, whatever struggles that you're having at home, ask a social worker, because they're having to deal with your children throughout the daytime. They can help you with management. They can tell you the things that works for them, and they can tell you a lot of stuff about your children when you're not around. Then there's number 6, the educational teachers. Now, you're going to have these service providers. They're going to be around for a very, very long time, through kindergarten, pre-primary, primary and high school. You know, you're going to have so many different teachers in your life, and, you know, and I think that they are amazing in what they do, because the amount of patience that they have. But the big thing about teachers is that they're there to provide lessons according to the educational curriculum. You know, so those lessons and those objectives, and they're there not just for your child but also for other children. Sometimes the boundaries can be crossed over, which I think you know, can be lessened if we all understand, you know, what our roles are. So as a single parent, your role is to be a parent. The teacher's role is to be the teacher. What the teacher recommends for your child, what you implement at home, is actually your business. But in effect, what I say is that, do you want your child to, you know, to be at the same level as the rest of the children? And, you know, if you do, then do as much as you can to, you know, to help the teacher out with what they're recommending. However, in saying that, children will do what they do, you know, so they may not listen to you, they may not listen to the teacher. The biggest thing with the children is if they're having fun and they're enjoying what they're learning, but especially if they're interested in it, then, you know, between you and teacher, it can be, you know, quite a wonderful relationship all the way through your children's learning life. Now, parenting helplines is the last group, and that's just quite simple. I mean, they usually are counsellors, and it's a 24/7 service. And parenting helplines are actually really good, especially for the times when you need someone to chitty chat to about problems and that, especially in the middle of the night. So use all those 7 services. Don't be afraid to use them. The big thing I want you to understand with all these 7 groups is this two-way street called respect. The service providers provide a service, and the main thing with all of them is that they all care, you know, and most of them are actually living their dreams. That's why they're doing what they're doing. So as a single parent, I say to you, number 1 is you are your child's parent. You know, so you are a valuable client to these service providers. Use them, respect them, and over the time, if you decide to live your dreams and do what they do, then even better for you and your children. Many blessings to you all. Yeah, so enjoy those services, enjoy the information. Click onto the link below this website at parenting101thebook.com. I'll catch up with you tomorrow for tomorrow's daily insight. See you.